Will it snow on the 25th this year? Will it be Christmas shopping weather? Good morning! Thank you for continuing to follow along. Today, we step into a dramatic journey across the meteorological map, where cyclones are taking turns shaking the North Atlantic. This is one of the busiest phases of the season, and every atmospheric system at this time can be a crucial piece, paving the way for the next major storm over Europe. In this video, I will take you along the trajectory of the returning cyclonic swirls over the northern seas. We will observe how they slide down toward Iceland, how their trailing edges sweep through more populated areas, and more importantly, whether the incoming system has enough strength to become a named storm. Besides that, we will examine the accompanying elements: heavy rain, strong winds, high waves, accumulating snow, all the factors that could make this weekend and the coming week highly unsettled for many European countries. Right as we speak, the countdown shows 14 days left until Christmas. That may sound short in everyday life, but in the world of UK meteorology, a group of islands where the weather shifts as quickly as turning a page, 14 days is practically a century. Christmas 2025, when the whole of the UK, from bustling London to the quiet valleys of Yorkshire, is asking the same question. Will it snow on the 25th? Will it be Christmas shopping weather? All of this will be analyzed in detail in the later part of this video, so please stay until the end. But for now, we begin with the UK weather forecast. A peaceful morning is unfolding before us, but don't let that calm exterior fool you. Beneath that gentle early day layer lies a complex weather pattern, shifting and stacking, layer by layer, across the skies of the United Kingdom. Today, many places are greeted with light sunshine and dry conditions, especially across the southern areas and parts of the west. However, across the central belt and the east, gray clouds still linger, remnants of a cold air mass sliding gradually eastward and weakening hour by hour. Imagine that cold air mass as a late-season guest, slow footsteps, a biting breath, and even as it departs, it still leaves a cold touch on this morning. The air behind it remains cold enough to make many areas curl up from the start of the day. But don't forget, high pressure from the south is advancing. It acts like a gentle blanket laid over the southern half of the country, helping the sky brighten and the air feel less chilly this Saturday morning. A pleasant sign, but unfortunately, not for long. Winds rising, rain arriving, and new warnings issued. From midday onward and throughout Saturday and Sunday, the weather will turn quickly. Winds strengthen, rain pushes in from the Atlantic, and a suite of yellow rain warnings has been issued for southwest Scotland, northwest England, northwest Wales. In high terrain, particularly the uplands and the Scottish Highlands, gusts may become very strong, at times making you feel like you're standing at the door of a small storm. But an interesting twist, those strong winds bring warmer air, meaning that even though the weather turns wet and uncomfortable, temperatures will tend to climb. This morning, cold, patchy rain, but brightening. Across central and western Scotland, as well as Northern Ireland, the morning begins with a biting chill. On radar, bands of rain stretch from the east coast of Scotland into northern England. The good news, rain over eastern Scotland will retreat within the next few hours. Meanwhile, Wales, especially the west, starts the day cold but gradually brightening. In south-central England, the Midlands, and the east, cloud cover remains thick but rainfall is only scattered. Midday, showers. Sunny intervals, winds strengthening. By midday, showers shift toward the East Midlands, forming intermittent bands that come and go quickly. Across northern England and the West Midlands, the sky brightens. Gaps in the clouds allow sunlight to filter through, creating some beautiful spells. Meanwhile, Shetland, steady rain for 3 to 5 hours. Western Scotland and western Northern Ireland, showers returning when mixed. Temperatures in eastern England remain around 11 to 13 degrees Celsius, relatively mild given the unsettled pattern. Tonight, clearer in the south, windy and wet in the north. As evening falls, many southern areas, including East Anglia, turn drier. In some rural spots, if skies clear sufficiently, a slight frost may form on the ground. But in Scotland, a completely different story. Frequent showers, strong winds, and on the highlands, wet snow may fall overnight. These are early signs that a powerful low-pressure system is gearing up to move in over the next 24 hours. Central England, Wales, southern England. Meanwhile, from the northwest, a large band of heavy rain is pushing towards Scotland and Northern Ireland. Heavier rainfall, strengthening southwesterly winds, increasing humidity. Late in the day, rain spreads into northwest Wales. By contrast, central and southeast England will enjoy a fine dry day, with occasional sunny breaks. Across western England, winds strengthen later in the day, but rainfall remains far less significant compared to Scotland. Weekend, wet in the west, mild in the east. A broader look. West, heavy rain, strong winds. East and southeast, dry, weak sunshine, pleasant weather. Temperatures, generally mild, especially from Saturday night into Sunday. Although Saturday morning brings a crisp chill, by Sunday a warm Atlantic air mass will blanket much of the UK. Sunday afternoon temperatures may reach 20 to 29 degrees Celsius, and in some eastern areas even higher. Before that warm air arrives, Saturday morning presents a surprising shift. Frost is returning, something rare in December this year. Southern England may see some light fog. Some places will see scattered frost. Temperatures will be the lowest of the entire weekend. Northwest, heavy rain, strong winds, yellow warnings. The most heavily affected regions this weekend: Northern Ireland, Western Scotland, Northwest England, North Wales. Successive weather systems bring rainfall totals on the uplands of 80 millimeters, even 100 millimeters in a few hotspots. The Met Office has issued 3 yellow warnings. Heavy rain combined with steep terrain raises risks of rapid river rises, localized flooding, travel disruption, hazardous driving conditions. Sunday, fine in the southeast, wet in the northwest. Once again, the country splits into 2 halves. Dry with light sunshine. Eastern England, southeast England, parts of the Midlands. Wet with heavy showers. Western Scotland, Northern Ireland, North Wales, northwest England. The cold air mass may shift slightly north or south, but wherever it sits, it continues to drive heavy rainfall in high-terrain regions. Temperatures, mild throughout next week. Following the weekend's unsettled pattern, most of the UK will maintain above-average temperatures, humid air, steady southwesterly winds. Overall, the weather remains quite pleasant, though with occasional showers following weak frontal systems. A highly changeable weekend. West, heavy rain, strong winds, yellow warnings. East, fine, light sunshine, mild. Temperatures rising, especially from Sunday onward. Saturday morning, a rare, surprising cold touch. Prepare warm clothing for tomorrow morning, an umbrella for western regions, and get ready to enjoy a fairly pleasant Sunday if you are in the southeast. Anyways, in this video, I will take you along the trajectory of the vortices spinning back into the northern seas. We will observe how they weave down toward Iceland, how their trailing edges sweep across more densely populated areas, and more importantly, whether the upcoming system has enough force to become a named storm. Besides that, we will also look at the accompanying factors: heavy rain, strong winds, high waves, snow accumulation, everything that could make this weekend and next week a highly turbulent period for many European countries. Oh wow, a massive vortex over the Atlantic. If you look at the weather map at this moment, you'll see a large vortex sitting in the North Atlantic. It's not the strongest system we've ever seen, but its trailing edge is drawing attention. A rain band stretching hundreds of kilometers, sweeping through many coastal areas. And this is only the beginning. As this vortex continues to move northward, a subtle but important change is occurring. Multiple smaller vortices are beginning to appear, especially to the southwest and northeast of Iceland. These 2 systems are not strong enough to cause dramatic events yet, but their rotation will continuously push rain bands into Europe in the coming days. A new encounter. Signs of a potential named storm. As we head into the middle of next week, the weather map suddenly becomes more tense. A zone of strong winds is beginning to form near Iceland and Greenland. But don't focus on the largest part of the system, because the true troublemaker lies in the small pocket of energy swirling to its south. This is exactly the scenario we saw with Storm Bram, a compact vortex core sitting in the right place, moving at the right moment, and accelerating as it shot northward along a latitudinal axis. And once again, that may be happening. As this energy moves, it interacts with the polar jet and creates a cyclone that may rapidly intensify. Forecasts show it could head straight toward Ireland around next Thursday. This opens up the possibility of strong wind gusts, widespread heavy rain, coastal high waves, flood risks in areas already saturated after many days of prior rain. And of course, the potential to become Europe's next named storm. It's still too early to confirm, but the pieces are starting to fall into place. From this weekend into next week, let's zoom in on the map to see what each region will face. This weekend, we have 3 major players. The current vortex in the Atlantic, 2 smaller vortices in the north, a continuous plume of moisture pushing into the UK, Ireland, and Norway. On Friday evening, rain begins to reach the shores of Norway and Scotland. Some areas in Ireland also see scattered showers. Saturday, the 2 northern cyclones continue to inject new energy. Scotland and Northern Ireland get successive waves of rain. Wales and England are less affected. Norway continues with rain mixed with snow. Some enhanced rain bands move into the North Sea. Sunday, the vortex southwest of Iceland moves closer, causing England and Ireland to see repeated rainfall. Norway receives another round of rain, with snow at higher elevations. Flood risk increases in areas that have already received 100 to 150 millimeters of rain in recent days. A wet gets wetter situation is something many regions will have to deal with. Europe-wide overview: who escapes the rain? Zooming the map further south, something interesting appears. The Balkans, Italy, Switzerland, and Austria are entering a more stable weather phase, very different from the stormy period earlier. Spain and Portugal, light rain from the Atlantic Central Europe, generally dry. Poland and Ukraine, some areas with light snow. Turkey, scattered rain. But Western Europe is different. Atlantic-driven weather remains dominant. High waves, the heartbeat of storms on the North Sea. Waves are rising again in the North Sea, always an early signal of developing strong winds and storms. Friday, waves begin to rise off western Norway. Saturday, stronger waves extend southward, affecting Scotland, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Next weekend, potential for even higher waves as the new system develops. For shipping routes, offshore fishing, and maritime transport, this will be a period requiring close attention. Snow, where will it increase? Where will it remain the same? Currently, snow is increasing in Norway, Sweden, Finland, parts of Iceland. But the Central European belt, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, northern France, remains in a drier zone, with little chance of additional snow at least until the end of next week. Not because the weather is warm, but because the moisture stream is concentrated too far north, while the south is under the influence of a weak but stable high-pressure area. Will there be a storm center next weekend? In summary, the North Atlantic is behaving exactly as it usually does in December. Dynamic, constantly shifting, and ready to generate powerful systems at any time. But the most notable point in all long-range forecasts is a small cyclone south of Iceland, very likely to strengthen in Iceland. Possibility of becoming the next named storm around mid to late next week. Accompanying it, storm force winds, widespread heavy rain, flood risk, dangerous high waves. France, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, and the United Kingdom are all within the potential impact zone. There is still a week to go, things may change, but the early signal is very clear. So, we are stepping into a period of constant motion on the weather map. Cyclones keep pushing in, rain bands continuously shift, and ahead of us may be a strengthening system in the making. The next part of the Christmas 2025 forecast. The moment when the whole of the UK, from bustling London to the quiet valleys of Yorkshire, is anxiously asking, will there be snow on the 25th? Right as we speak, the countdown clock shows that Christmas is still 14 days away. It may sound short in everyday life, but in the meteorological world of the UK, an island where the weather changes as quickly as turning a page, 14 days is an entire century. And therefore, as every year, we begin with the fundamental truth. At this stage, no model can provide certain details. The only thing we can do is identify trends, probabilities, and potential scenarios. But before stepping into the maze of models, let's repeat a definition that seems simple, yet is the center of every winter debate. A white Christmas. The official definition. According to the UK Met Office, a white Christmas is an event where just a single snowflake is observed falling anywhere in the United Kingdom between 0 and 23 for 59 on December 25th. Snow doesn't have to settle on roads. Lawns don't need to turn white. Even a single snowflake mixed into rain counts. Therefore, snowfall 1 to 2 days before Christmas does not count. Even light sleet on the 25th does count. Every year, this definition creates countless humorous situations, and 2025 is no exception. GEFS, the American Ensemble Model, the first overview. We start with GEFS, the Extended American Ensemble, one of the strongest datasets available today. On the 850 HPA temperature chart, equivalent to about 1,500 meters altitude, looking at December 25th in London, we see the following. Quite a large spread. Some simulations pull temperatures down, but many push temperatures significantly upward. The long-term average line, the thick black one, most simulations lie at or slightly above this average level. The ensemble mean line, the purple one, it oscillates around the long-term average, sometimes dipping slightly, but does not show any clear deep cold spell. Conclusion for London, no strong cold signal. Mild winter, even slightly warm. Manchester, Inverness, going north, any more hope? Many believe that if London is warm, going north increases the chance of snow, but GFS paints a rather harsh picture. Manchester, still around average or slightly above. Inverness, slightly colder because it is naturally colder, but no simulation shows a strong temperature drop, the key ingredient for snow. And notably, the snow row index is extremely low. Many places are only 233s, meaning just 2 out of 33 simulations show snow. That is a number almost 0. The high-pressure theme returns. When looking at 33 pressure simulation maps for midday on Christmas Day, we see a recurring theme. High pressure appears from the south, extending toward the UK. Some models push the high far enough north to bring down a bit of cold air, but most do not. The dominant scenario is west and north, wetter south, dry, sometimes unusually warm. Temperature, average or above average. A few extreme simulations show very mild conditions, almost like an autumn Christmas. Snow imagery, GEFS, a tiny glimmer of hope. Although the vast majority of simulations do not show snow, there are a few lonely bright spots. Some models show snow in northern Scotland, common. 1 to 2 models show light snow in southern England, rare but real. However, when looking at accumulated snow maps, only the high mountains of Scotland retain snow on the ground. The European model, ECMWF ensemble stable, reliable, and not cold. The European model, famous for its stability and accuracy, also offers little hope this time. Even when viewing both the traditional physics-based version and the AI-enhanced version, the conclusions match GEFS. Temperatures near or above the 30-year average, a few cold simulations, normal when there are 50 models, no sign of a widespread deep freeze. Even in Inverness, the frozen sanctuary of Scotland, the model says only one thing. It will be cold, but not cold enough for a white Christmas. The deterministic models are typically useful only within 3 to 5 days. But for fun, we still look. Standard GFS, high pressure to the northeast, fairly neutral air, not cold, not warm. Slight winter feel, but not enough for snow. GFS AI, high pressure to the north, light easterlies, a small cold pocket to the south. Interesting, but still not snow. IFS and AI IFS, European models, the familiar story, mild, above average, a little coolness in the southeast if conditions align. No sign of widespread snow. In summary, ensemble models, not optimistic. Deterministic models, mixed, unreliable at 14 days. Snow probability, low for most regions. Strong cold signal, not present. If we rate the chances of a white Christmas 2025 this week, 2/5 points. If ignoring the playful deterministic models, perhaps only 1/5. The most likely scenario on 25/12/2025, if described as an imaginary conversation. I can't believe it's Christmas and it's this warm. Told you, feels like autumn, doesn't it? But it's nice. One of the warmest Christmases in years. And indeed, the most likely scenario, Christmas 2025 South, mild, dry, some gentle sunshine. North, scattered showers, moderately cold, little to no snow. Scottish Highlands, possible light snow, but uncertain, no deep cold from the north. A pleasant, soft Christmas, but not a classic white Christmas. A small hope, the lucky Santa hat of 1995. And here comes the most charming part of the forecast. As every year, the presenter brings out a legendary item, the lucky Santa hat from 1995. That was the year he received the hat while in North Yorkshire, during the snowiest Christmas of his life. Will that hat still bring luck? Will it reverse this year's warm trend? Nobody knows. But hope remains. And meteorology, too, always has room for surprises. Although the models do not favor a white Christmas at the moment, there is still time. There is still atmospheric variability, and at least 1 to 2 more updates before the 25th. If things change, and they have changed very quickly before, you'll know in the next forecast. Thank you for following the 5th part of this year's Christmas weather feature. If you found it interesting, feel free to share feedback, and stay ready for the latest updates in the coming days. Wishing everyone a peaceful Christmas season. Snow or no snow. The opening weather today feels like it is composing a multi-layered symphony. The west is dry, with gentle sunshine pinned onto a cold gray sky, while the central and eastern regions still see scattered showers as light as mist. The cold air mass that covered us overnight is now edging eastward. It is weakening, but leaving behind a thin ribbon of cold air threading through central England and Scotland, causing many areas to start the day with a light bite of cold. But that is only the first layer. Behind it, from the south, a ridge of high pressure is rising, like a reassuring hand on the shoulder, making the Saturday morning feel slightly gentler before everything enters a highly unsettled weekend. Looking at the satellite imagery right now, you'll see patches of speckled showers scattered across eastern Scotland and parts of northern England. However, those showers are weakening, and skies over eastern Scotland are expected to brighten within the next few hours. Meanwhile, from western Scotland, thick, moisture-laden clouds are beginning to push in from the Atlantic. Some scattered showers are appearing over Northern Ireland, and the region is likely to be wetter around lunchtime. In Wales and much of the Midlands, the sky is dry and cold, the kind of crisp cold that can change completely once a ray of sunlight breaks through. The rain band at the moment is concentrated mainly over the eastern counties of the East Midlands. The showers come and go quickly, like thin brushstrokes from torn fragments of cloud. Key highlights. Shetland will see 3 to 5 hours of continuous rain. Western Scotland will see new showers moving in from the Atlantic. Northern Ireland will receive its first rainfall by late morning. Winds are currently light to moderate, but all meteorological models agree that by this evening, especially into Saturday, winds will strengthen significantly. Although sunshine appears in a few spots, the air overall remains cold, particularly in central Scotland, western Scotland, Northern Ireland. Midday temperatures range from 7 to 8 degrees Celsius in the north and 11 to 13 degrees Celsius in the southeast, regions benefiting from a southwesterly flow bringing in warmer air. By evening, rain over East Anglia will ease, but strong winds and heavy showers will continue to spread into Scotland and Northern Ireland. The Scottish Highlands may even see some light snow. Saturday morning will be quite pleasant in many areas. Bright skies, high pressure holding firm, and clear, crisp air. But it is only a pause before winds and rain begin to accelerate. Saturday morning highlights. Cold with even frost in rural areas of southern England. The cold air mass departs, but slowly. A thin layer of fog may form and be slow to lift. Regions receiving the first rain. Northwest Scotland, Northern Ireland, parts of North Wales, far northern England. Meanwhile, most of England and Wales will remain dry, even sunny, early in the morning. By mid-afternoon, the Atlantic low-pressure system expands more aggressively. Southwesterly winds surge in, carrying multiple dense rain bands. Heavily affected regions: Northern Ireland, Western Scotland, Northwest Wales, Northwest England. Winds over upland and highland areas may gust strongly, enhancing rainfall intensity and speed. This will be one of the most dramatic weather periods of the week. Widespread heavy rain. Northern Ireland, Western Scotland, Northwest England, North Wales. Many locations may exceed 80 to 100 millimeters of rain, especially on hillsides and narrow valleys. The Met Office has issued 3 yellow warnings due to risks of flash flooding and transport disruption. Winds will continue strengthening, and some mountain peaks may see wet snow or light snow as colder air descends and mixes with the heavier rainfall. Sunday will present a clear split in conditions. South and East England dry with occasional sunshine. Winds still strong but not disruptive. Temperatures rising sharply, 20 to 29 degrees in some areas, quite unusual for December. North and west, still the center of rainfall. Rain shifting gradually southwards, slow but consistent, strong gusts by the end of the day, cooler feel due to prolonged rain. The bigger picture, the Atlantic jet stream is waking up. The main driver behind this turbulent weekend is a highly active atmospheric jet over the Atlantic. Multiple low-pressure systems forming continuously. Tight and compressed isobars, strong winds. Successive weather fronts lining up toward the UK. This is classic winter scenery, the west soaked, the east dry, yet the whole UK under a mild southwesterly flow. Outlook for next week, keeping the same mild and windy theme. Extended forecasts show that much of next week will continue with quite mild temperatures, dominant southwesterly winds, frequent rain in western regions, mostly dry conditions in the east, no clear signal of a deep cold spell, temperatures staying above average. Overall, this weekend paints a very expressive weather emotion map. Cold at dawn, warm by late day, dry in the southeast, wet in the west and north. Strong winds, heavy rain, minor flood alerts, yet with some clear, beautiful intervals to enjoy. And above all, it signals that winter has truly begun, with the Atlantic flow returning strongly, just like in classic years. As always, I will continue to closely follow every model and every small structural change in the atmosphere. If there are signs that the upcoming system is truly intensifying, I will update you immediately. Thank you for following along. If you find this update helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Mr. Tien channel so you won't miss any forecast in the coming days. See you in the next update.